Hey guys, it's author Emily Her coming at you from Pueblo West, Colorado. It is 2/28/2025 and it's 8:22 a.m. Hi, it's me again. Just a heads up guys, if you hear any barking or playful banter in the background, I'm going to pause the podcast and wait until my dogs stop doing it, and then I'll come right back and finish the podcast. You won't be able to tell that I left, but you may have heard it in the background. Today's topic is SNHU, that's Southern New Hampshire University. So guys, I have a mixed review here for Southern New Hampshire University, SNHU. We're going to call it SNHU from now on in the podcast. I wanted to talk about this subject because it's been coming up a lot, that there are a few problems in the school with the professors and the way that they grade your work. So, I'm going to tell you, I like SNHU. They're very good at what they do. The classes are pretty simple. You have your discussions by Thursday, responses by Sunday, assignments due by Sunday. You get the whole week to do whatever. You read, you learn, you have your lessons. Basically self-study. It's great. It's easier formatting. The students are great in the class. The teachers are pretty fair that I've had. And overall, it's been an okay experience. The bookstore is easy to use. You can change your major really easily. You can talk to advisors any day of the week. You can add classes, subtract classes. You can do whatever, really. But the issues with the grading. So I'm sure everybody knows what Turnitin.com is. The little grading thing that tells teachers whether or not you used ChatGPT and whether or not you have plagiarism in your papers. I am a leader in about 10 SNHU groups on Facebook, and I have a ton of classmates that are in those groups. So it's come to my attention that there are teachers, when you get like a 22% on a 17-page paper, that they're giving you an F and failing you and saying that it's too high. So, of course, we don't want to do plagiarism. You want to make sure you're citing properly. You want to make sure you're rewording things, giving credit where it's due, but it's getting a little bit difficult because combating these teachers is getting more difficult and more necessary. Personally, my wife has been studying graphic design and she's had some great teachers, but there's a dud of a teacher right now that she has who is grading very stupidly. I'm just going to say it, stupidly. I've been an educator for over 20 years. In K through college, and I've even learned certain things like how to be a fire captain, and I've trained a captain for his exams, okay? So I'm very educated. I should be a professional in the field. We've been out in the field. We're just getting those degrees to pad your background and your resume. Now, I'm logical. Every time I do something or say something, I'm being logical about it. I'm looking at it from every angle. So here's the thing. My wife has a 4.0 GPA. She's passed every class that she has. Her grade books are A. I know that they're great. She runs them by me. I'm her worst critic. I'm like, hey, why'd you do that? Hey, that looks stupid. Hey, what is that? So by the time she turns it in, it's been harassed, it's been torn apart, and it's been improved. When you have A's everywhere, to get a C suddenly on a project that is amazing, and then to see that the teacher is asking for stupid things. Like if you used a font that she doesn't like Papyrus, which has only been around for a few years, and she's trying to ban it for you using, and it's like the best font for what you're doing. Anyways, she's crazy. She tells you these things after you've already had to turn in your work, and then yells at you and blames you and tells you, hey, you were supposed to do this. It's nowhere in the description. It's nowhere in the assignment. It's stupid. And then you're arguing with her. And of course, you can dispute it with the school. And of course, if you try to find out if other students are having this problem, they try to block you. And they say, oh, that's not professional to try and get the groups together. They don't want you talking to other students so that you don't get together and complain as a group. So here's the thing. These grades are coming up for various different reasons. Some of the teachers seem undereducated. Some of the teachers are not grading until weeks after it's due. And then you're failing new lessons because you didn't get the feedback from the first ones. People are getting blamed like they're using AI when they're not using AI. People are having percentages under 30%, And it's usually something like accounting or something like where you have to put their questions in the writing. So of course it mimics it and is everywhere. And they're getting failing grades because of that turnitin.com score. Now the thing is the only way to actually make a change in anything is to get together as a group and to fight back. When you try to do one person at a time, it never really works very well. I'm going to tell you right now, I had the same situation, me and my wife, with College America in Denver, Colorado. It took like 10 years, and they finally closed the school down. They're refunding us all of our money from our financial aid. We get to keep our degrees, but they're going under Stephen and Hager. Anyways, sometimes when you're just one person, you don't get the word out. You don't feel like you're accomplishing anything, but sometimes it adds up. Usually when these people mess up, it adds up. They get complaint after complaint, and then eventually they get fired or something. So the question is, are you setting yourself up for failure by being at SNHU in a course? And honestly, I would tell you to pick a different college if you're able to choose one, unless it's more affordable for you to be at SNHU. Even though the scheduling's easygoing, the problems are a little bit too much. I've already had to dispute a grade, and it took weeks. I've had to dispute financial things, and it took weeks. I had to dispute my GPA because in 2021 they didn't drop my classes that I left. Literally every day they're asking me for my social security card to prove my identity because it's not matching with the FAFSA, blah, blah, blah. And I submit it and submit it and submit it. I had a legal name change when I was in 2021 and I went to school. I had a different name. I did all their paperwork this year, got it approved. They even changed my email. Boom, I wake up one morning and it's showing both of my names mixed together. I get locked out of my classes, locked out of my account because they're messing it up. So it might be easygoing if you don't have anything like that. Like if you don't use financial aid, if you don't have like a name change or whatever else, degree change, whatever it is that you're doing. So you might have an easier going time. But if you have major problems or you need support, sometimes they're not the best school. I do honestly have mixed feelings. The reason I would say choose a different school if you could is because they're still working with a lot of issues. The graduation rate is very small, very low percentage. They have support for you, which is great, but it takes some time, so you might feel like you're doing something wrong. Another issue that I had is, like I said, the GPA. So I was disputing something in a class. I was trying to get a W grade instead of a failing grade because of something that had happened. And they put me under that 2.0. My financial aid made me do a SAP appeal and all of these things. And then like 2 weeks later, my GPA is back up to the 4.0 that it's supposed to be. And boom, why did I have to do the SAP appeal? Then I'm arguing with them about, hey, I shouldn't have to do the SAP appeal for this and I shouldn't have to do that. It makes no sense. But anyways, like I said, if you don't have these problems, like you don't use financial aid or something, great school. They're really good at solving your problems and letting you speak up and letting you complain and things like that. They're very nice. Their advisors are helpful. You can learn everything that you need to do. They have resources. Handshake's amazing with SNHU. Awato is a career assessment thing. Their career paths are totally wrong. For journalism, it's like take photography. So don't use that. Not great, but it's a service they have. You could take this personality test and things, see what you might be good at. And see, this is where I'm saying I have mixed reviews about this school. Because there are a ton of problems and they're solvable, but it just depends how much time you want to commit to disputing things, arguing with your teachers, and trying to get by. I honestly have had a few times, like I said, where I'm just crazy, like, I hate you. I went to a different school and applied, and I was whining and crying, and then they solved my problem and I calmed down. But as students, we do need to speak up. We do need to do these disputes. We do need to inform the school when the teachers are doing something wrong or unethical or against grading policy. Again, my wife's teacher is telling her things that are not in the lesson plan, grading against her for things she did that are in the lesson plan. So the thing about their school is they do copy paste the classes. If you take English 330, it is the same across the board. Discussions, writing assignments, everything is the same. The only thing different is the teacher and your classmates. So these teachers are going in and then they're trying to make it their own. They're interpreting it their own way. They're understanding it their own way. And some of them don't know how to do that. They need more guidance. They need more strict rules about how to grade and how to host the class. Some of them take their jobs too seriously. Some of them seem angry that they're not in the fields that they're supposed to be in and that they're teaching instead. I'm not being judgmental. Like I said, there's a ton of great teachers, but when you find one who is not great, it will make you see red. You are going to explode. You are going to feel like you want to leave that school. You're going to feel like you have no hope, that you're just stuck. You're not stuck, guys. If you do choose SNHU and you do go to SNHU, you just go to your main portal where you log in for everything. In the search box, you type important forms. Then you click on the first link that pops up on the list of important forms, and there's all the forms you could possibly need. The one for students online, it says dispute resolution for online students. That's what you use no matter what the type of issue is. If you're an on-campus student, they have different forms on that list for each thing that you're trying to dispute. Just know the turnaround time can be like 2 to 3 weeks. They go on vacations, they do things, they'll ask for evidence and proof and all that stuff. They are pretty fair. Just remember to try your best not to plagiarize. Even if your teachers are having you write something that's the same, reword it, cite it. If you're not sure, just cite it. You can write a paragraph and you can say something like, oh, Java Monster has a lot of vitamins in it, but it's really high in whatever else, taurine. And then you can say Monster Energy. You don't have to actually have quotes. You can have information that you learned from a source and you can cite it at the end of the paragraph and it counts. You can say according to blah, 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 blah. Try your best, guys. SNHU is a good school for the most part, and I probably lean towards it 70% and 30% like you shouldn't go. If you have the main issues, like where you're going to have financial aid and you might have problems and you might need help, I would talk to them first. They do have a program and a center for people who need those resources and people with disabilities and things like that. I mean, they are a pretty good school, but the problems that come up are so important that you have to really decide what you want to do. I'm thinking, because I don't want to sound like I'm changing my opinion, but really, the point is to get those facts out about this school, to get the information out about what's going on. I see a lot of those problems. They have a council that they're supposed to do, and he asked if there's any issues. They didn't respond back. Some of these problems they don't want to hear about. Some of them they can't do anything about. So just be vigilant. Watch your grades. Watch your evaluation sheet. Make sure you're watching your GPA, your financial aid, your billing. And if they send you book vouchers, don't forget, it comes off of your financial aid. So be prepared for that. Some of the classes you can get away with not even getting the book. They're pretty simple. They have enough resources that they don't even use it. They'll have a reading assignment, but you don't really have to do it. And just ask for help when you need it. Ask for help with your advisors. Ask for help with the financial team. Ask for help from your teachers. You can ask your teachers to dispute the grade. I did have one of those issues with one of my teachers, and he did change my grade by the time I was finished talking to him because he knew I understood the subject, even though it was a little bit weird how I presented it. So just think everything through, plan accordingly, make sure you have enough focus on what you're doing. And by the way, guys, you can take more than 2 classes per term. I'm in 4. You will have to pay extra money if you don't have enough financial aid to cover it, but you can graduate sooner. You can do double majors. You can do, oh, and guys, if you do a double major, let's say you're in English and creative writing like I was going to be. If you're in 2-degree programs and you finish one first, you do not get the degree until you finish both. So just a heads up for those double majors out there. Watch that. Make sure that you understand that. If anything, pace yourself so that they both finish at the same time. Anyways, guys, that's all I have to say about SNHU for now. Hopefully I didn't confuse people too much. Like I said, I have mixed feelings about SNHU. I'm not going to leave. And I do plan on attending for a second degree after I'm done. So just know, it's a good school, but there are problems. Any school has problems. Make sure if you have a problem that you face it head on, that you get the resources you need. And when you do not know something, talk to your advisor. All right, guys, that's it for right now. I'm going to do a different podcast a little bit later on a different subject matter. But thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And I hope that you enjoyed my podcast. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. And yes, hopefully I didn't confuse anyone. Whatever. It's great. You have questions, concerns. You want to ask me a question. If you want to know information about SNHU that I didn't cover, go ahead and write me an email at thescoop@writeme.com. thescoop@writeme.com. All right, guys. See you later. Have a great day.